An extremely likable Markelle Fultz. What a conversation there with Zeke. And guys, we've been talking about this behind the scenes. I was saying yesterday, Stu, a year ago, we'd all sit here and somebody mentioned the Sixers and you don't know what to say. Where are they going? Everyone. Now you look at this team. There's such positive energy. What's your take on how the process has gotten to this point and where we are now with Philly?
Well, there's such positive energy in Philadelphia that they've changed the mantra from trust the process to welcome to the moment. And a lot of that has to do with Markelle Fultz. But when you look at this roster, you can't help but be excited. You have Joel Embiid, if he remains healthy, is arguably going to be one of the top 5-10 players in the NBA in a couple of years. You got Saric, who I think is the perfect complement to Embiid because he stretches the floor, has very good skills, and can pass the basketball. Then you add a guy like Fultz and Ben Simmons. Now, Simmons, in the case, you don't quite know what he is yet, and we'll find that out, but we know that Fultz is going to be a little bit of a game changer because of his size, because of his skill level, his ability to play pick and roll basketball, make other people better. And boy, I'll tell you, that's why the Sixers are going to be sold out when they open in November every single game.
Did they hit the jackpot here? I mean, I know they had to give up a lot, and I'm not saying Jason Tatum won't be a great player, but for what Philly needs, and you think about, Zeke mentioned Allen Iverson, you look for that next franchise face. Did they hit the mark, do you think, with Markelle Fultz?
You know, I think he's a great fit. I think that franchise face right now is Joel Embiid, and we yet to see what Markelle Fultz can do. But what I saw in watching him in tape, it's a perfect fit for the NBA. He's strong, he's physical, he can play with the basketball, but he also can play without. And one thing I love about him is a lot of my coaches used to say he doesn't play with it. There's not a lot of dribble. There's direct line, and then there's a counter move, as we see right now, and he's to the bucket. And I think with Simmons, it's a perfect fix to a guy that can play with the ball without, and then also just hearing a young man speak. I think he's a pro's pro.
Now, as our capologist Eric Pincus will tell us as we look at this board, having money means players are going to make money. J.J. Redick, 1 year, $23 million. You see Amir Johnson, also 1 year, $11 million. You've got Fultz, and they still have money, right?
Yes, they have about $16 million if they need it. I mean, they're pretty well stocked up with players. I don't know who else you spend it on. But what's interesting is going with these short deals. I love it because you get J.J. Redick. You don't need him long term. You don't need him for 3 or 4 years. You need him now to teach these young guys how to play, because don't forget Joel Embiid's contract. It's coming up soon, right? They got to make that decision. Then you get down the road pretty soon. They already had to make a decision on Nerlens Noel. He's gone. They have to invest in these kids. So right now everyone's on cheap contracts and they have this flexibility. You don't want to overinvest in guys you don't need down the road for when you have to pay these kids. And look, I trust the process. I love what they're doing there. I like what Sam Presti started. I like what Brian Colangelo is continuing. Future's bright in Philadelphia.
Eric, how does this help J.J. Redick as far as a long-term deal? Does this help him by just taking a 1-year deal in Philadelphia, not taking a long-term deal?
It helps him to get paid $23 million. I'll tell you that right now. It's like money in the bank. You get $6 million next year. That's you're fine. Now, if he can show and if he can be a part of them long-term with Philadelphia, what they're doing, and be that guy who's you have like a band of young guys and you have like the older guy on the saxophone.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
If he can be that guy and get 12, 13 million, he can't get 23 million next year. But right now, go ahead, JJ, go on.
I just hope, like Buffer with Let's Get Ready to Rumble, that somebody's making a lot of cash